Now, a new report commissioned by the Brenthurst Foundation has found that the country's railway system is on the brink of collapse. That's as thieves and vandals have made off with thousands of kilometers worth of electrical cables. As a result, more than 2/3 of the entire electrical network is out of order. Railway stations, signalling rooms and even railway tracks have not been spared during a period of heightened vandalism that took place last year. Dr. Joash Mageto is a senior lecturer at the University of Johannesburg's Department of Transport and Supply Chain Management. He joins us now with some possible solutions, hopefully, Dr. Mageto, to this crisis. I want to begin by just asking you about this period of heightened vandalism that we talked about just a moment ago. The issues around vandalism and our railway infrastructure, it has been an ongoing one for years. Tell us about this period last year that saw those numbers really skyrocket.
Yeah, good morning, and thank you so much for having me here this morning. One thing that we know is that whenever a particular asset is not utilized properly, then other people take advantage, especially the criminal elements, take advantage and vandalize some of these facilities. And during the COVID-19 period, when rail was not being used and many of the other transport infrastructures, it found that the criminal elements found an opportunity to vandalize almost everything that they could find, which they can sell. So it is a government's responsibility to make sure that they secure this infrastructure because it's vital for the economy.
Absolutely. I mean, we're now at the stage where we're talking about daily vandalism of our railway infrastructure.
Yeah, true. It's quite unprecedented because if it continues like this, after a short while, we are not going to have rail transport at all.
In the numbers that I see in front of me here, the situation, I mean, it's such a dire picture being painted. 89% of Prasa's railways are out of order in Gauteng. 70% in KZN don't work. 30% in the Western Cape are out of order. What does this mean, particularly when we talk about this kind of infrastructure in the country's economic hub, the province of Gauteng?
Yeah, it really means that the economy is not going to grow as expected, or is not going to do well as expected, because remember, transport is a vital element in the growth of the economy, because manufacturers need transport to move the raw materials, to move the finished goods. The passengers need to move from one point to the other so that they can work, and also so that they can have recreational activities, educational activities, and all those. And we know very well that South Africa is committed towards climate change. And with the commitment with climate change, we know very well that rail can help in mass transportation as opposed to the use of taxis and the buses and also the private car. So when the rail infrastructure is deteriorating, what it really means is that we are not doing well, and we need to do something right. Because another thing is that rail cannot support itself. So rail requires proper integration with the mode of transport. And this integration will happen once government makes a deliberate decision to secure the infrastructure, and also to make sure that there is political will to support this particular integration.
Yeah. Prasa itself is in a disarray in terms of its own management and internal battles. It says that it could take between 6 and 36 months to repair the entire passenger rail network. Some of the quotes I'm seeing is that it will cost around 500,000 rand per kilometer to repair the infrastructure. So let's just say the repairs do take place. What happens to curtail this kind of vandalism while these repairs are ongoing? And you just talked a moment ago about political will.
Yeah, the repair can happen, but then the main challenge is that government must have a proper strategy on how they are going to secure the infrastructure. Because as much as you repair and the vandalism is happening, then it's like you're putting water into a leaking container. So you're not going to get any progress. And when it comes to governance issues, my take is that government should look for transformative leadership in PRAZA and not just management to run the institution. They need transformative leadership, leaders who can be able to run rail for the future and not for the past. The current rail has been there for over 100 years, and we expect that anything that we can take it forward is proper transformative leadership.
Yeah, and the same can be said for many of our SOEs, isn't it? I mean, it's bizarre to look at the kind of numbers we're seeing in terms of vandalism, when just a few months ago, PRAZA told Parliament that it wants to position the railway as the backbone of public transport, which historically is what rail transportation is to our country. It's affordable, it's faster, hopefully, in an ideal world, more reliable as well. You know, given the numbers in terms of vandalism, given the rot within PRAZA, how much money it's lost to looting and vandalism as well, how do passengers feel safe going back to rail transportation? How do you see that happening?
That is very difficult, and currently we can only say that rail is cheaper compared to other modes of transport. But remember, passengers or commuters, they are not going to buy the transport service because it's cheap. It must be safe for them to travel. There must be security. There must be reliability. And when all these things are missing, these are the basics that customers use to select a transport service. And if it's not safe, if it's not secure for them, if it's not reliable, they cannot be able to plan their time, then what it means that they can go for the alternative, even if it's expensive. So for PRAZA to attract passengers so that they have that mass transit, they must make sure that there is safety, there is security, there is reliability. The other fancy ones, such as comfort and others, they can wait. But then safety, security, and reliability are a key items or attributes that customers consider whenever they select a transport service. Yeah.
Dr. Mageto, you talked about, how getting our rail infrastructure back on track could also help with our climate change goals. That's just one impact of having more trucks on the road, because that's what it means, doesn't it? The worse our rail infrastructure is, the more trucks we have on the road. What does that mean for the lifespan of our roads infrastructure then?
Yes, the more trucks we have on the road, the more deterioration we have on the road. Because if a road is designed to maybe last about 50 years or maybe 25 years, and then there are more trucks on the road, what it means is that the lifespan of that road is reduced. But more important is the issues of pollution, the issues of accidents, the issues of loss of goods, maybe especially during protests and such like. All these can be avoided if we can be able to have a proper integration so that the trucks feed the rail network, and also the trucks complete the journeys from the rail network.
Yeah.
If we have that kind of integration, it can work very well for rail.
Yeah, but at the moment, it's a vicious cycle, isn't it?
Yeah, at the moment, rail is competing with the road. And that kind of competition is not healthy because rail cannot survive. Then road will always be winning. So a proper integration is what is required. And the government needs to make a deliberate decision to support rail.
Absolutely. Dr. Joash Mageto, let me thank you for your time this morning. He's a senior lecturer at the University of Johannesburg's Department of Transport and Supply Chain Management as we look into that report commissioned by the Brenthurst Foundation into the country's railway system, essentially finding that it is on the verge of collapse.